ever wondered what magic lies within the digital canvas? Let's embark on a journey through Adobe Photoshop and unveil the secrets of visual enchantment. Are you ready to explore the art of digital wizardry? Good day everyone! I'm Rachel Minty Gonzalez from BSCS 3C, and today I'm going to discuss a topic about the introduction of Adobe Photoshop. First, what is Adobe Photoshop? Adobe Photoshop is a leading software for image editing and manipulation. It means that Adobe Photoshop is considered as one of the most prominent and widely used software applications in the field of editing and altering digital images. It implies that Photoshop holds a strong position in the market and is highly regarded for its capabilities in tasks related to modifying, enhancing, and creating images. Also, Adobe Photoshop is used by professionals in graphic design, photography, and digital art. In terms of graphic design, graphic designers use Adobe Photoshop to create and manipulate the visual elements for various purposes, including advertising, branding, publications, and digital media. And in photography, the photographers employ Adobe Photoshop to enhance, retouch, and manipulate photographs. And in digital art, the digital artists, including illustrators and painters, use Photoshop as a tool for creating original artwork on a digital canvas. Next, we have the history and evolution of Adobe Photoshop. Photoshop was first developed by Adobe in 1988. The software application known as Adobe Photoshop was initially created and developed by Adobe Systems Incorporated in the year 1988. This marks the inception of Photoshop as a software product. In 1988, Adobe Systems released the first version of Photoshop, and since then, it has undergone numerous updates and revisions, becoming one of the most prominent and widely used image editing and manipulation software programs in the world. And over the years, it has evolved into a powerful and versatile tool. Adobe Photoshop has undergone significant development and improvement since its initial creation, and it has become a software application that is both robust and adaptable to a wide range of creative tasks. Next is the purpose and usage of Adobe Photoshop. Photoshop is used for photo retouching, graphic design, and digital art creation. In terms of photo retouching, this refers to the practice of improving or altering photographs to enhance their quality or appearance. Photoshop's extensive toolset allows users to remove imperfections, adjust colors, correct exposure, and perform various edits to make photos look better or more closely aligned with the desired aesthetic. The next is the graphic design. Graphic design encompasses the creation of visual content for various purposes such as advertising, branding, print media, and digital media. The next is the digital art creation. Photoshop serves as a powerful platform for digital artists to create artwork from scratch or transform existing images into artistic compositions. Also, the purpose and usage of Adobe Photoshop is it's a go-to tool in industries like advertising, publishing, and web design. Adobe Photoshop is a widely relied upon or essential tool in these specific professional fields. It suggests that professionals and businesses involved in advertising, publishing, and web design frequently turn to Adobe Photoshop as their primary or preferred software for various tasks related to image editing, graphic design, and visual content creation. It underscores the importance and popularity of Photoshop in these industries due to its versatility and capabilities in meeting their specific needs. Here are some advantages and disadvantages of Adobe Photoshop. Advantages. First, we have powerful image editing. Adobe Photoshop offers a wide range of tools and features for advanced image editing and manipulation. It can handle tasks from basic retouching to complex compositions. Next is the versatility. Photoshop is versatile, suitable for various creative fields including graphic design, photography, digital art, web design, and more. It can cater to a broad spectrum of user needs. Next is layers. The use of layers allows for non-destructive editing, enabling users to work on different elements of an image independently. This feature is essential for professional work. Next, we have extensive filters and effects. Photoshop provides a vast library of filters and effects that can enhance and transform images creatively. Lastly, large user community. Photoshop has a large user base, resulting in a wealth of tutorials, online communities, and resources for learning and troubleshooting. And we have disadvantages. First one is cost. Adobe Photoshop is subscription-based, which can be expensive for some users. It requires ongoing payments to access the software. The next one is the resource-intensive. Photoshop can be resource-intensive, especially when working with large files or complex compositions. It may require a powerful computer. Next is the overkill for simple tasks. For basic image editing tasks like resizing or cropping, Photoshop may be overkill. Simpler tools may be more efficient for these purposes. Next is the software updates. While updates bring new features, they can also lead to compatibility issues with older files and plugins. And lastly is the piracy concerns. Adobe software, including Photoshop, has been a target for piracy, which can lead to legal and security issues. These are the creative works or examples of an artwork, designs, or projects created using Photoshop. And these examples demonstrate the software's capability to transform ideas into tangible and visually appealing creations, whether they are works of art, design materials, or elements within more extensive projects. And we have here the famous Photoshop creations. These are the examples of famous images or campaigns that use Photoshop for manipulation or enhancement. The first example is the photo enhancement. Photo enhancement is the process of improving the visual quality of a photograph to make it more appealing or to correct flaws. And the next example is the photo manipulation. And photo manipulation refers to the process of altering or enhancing a photograph using various techniques and software tools. Lastly, we have conclusion. In conclusion, Adobe Photoshop is an indispensable tool for visual content creation. It means that Adobe Photoshop is an indispensable tool for visual content creation due to its unmatched versatility, advanced image editing capabilities, and promotion of creative freedom. And Adobe Photoshop continues to empower and inspire, making it an indispensable cornerstone of the visual content creation landscape. Also, it empowers users to unleash their creativity and achieve stunning results. It serves as a digital canvas where imaginations run wild, enabling artists, designers, and photographers to push their creative boundaries. It is a testament of the fusion of technology and artistic expression, proving that with the right tools and a touch of inspiration, the possibilities for creativity are truly limitless. That's all. Thank you.
Good day, my name is Princess D. Arellano. So today, we will learn all about the Photoshop interface, tools, and its features. Topics include the document window, the toolbar, the options bar, the menu bar, and panels, and also covers workspaces as well as the tools. So first is the Photoshop interface. So here's what the Photoshop interface looks like once we open an image. And the second one is the document window. The document window is the large area in the center of interface where the image is displayed. It's also where we edit the image. The actual area where the image is visible is known as the canvas. And the dark area surrounding the image is the baseboard. And the baseboard doesn't really serve a purpose other than to fill in the space around the image when the image itself is too small to fill the entire document window. The third one is the document tab. At the top of the document window is the Documents tab. The tab displays the name and file type of the document, which is the Adobe Photoshop, and its current zoom level, which is the 25%. The tab is also how we switch between document windows when we have more than one image open in Photoshop. The fourth one is the zoom level and the status bar. In the bottom left of the document window, we find more information about the image. The current zoom level is displayed, and just like it is in the Documents tab, and to the right of the zoom level is the status bar. By default, the status bar displays the color profile of the image. So click and hold the status bar to view additional information about the image, like its width and height, resolution, and color information. And you can also change the type of information that the status bar displays. Click on the arrow on the right of the status bar to open a menu where you can choose to view different details like document sizes or dimensions such as the width, height, and the resolution. Next, we have the toolbar, also known as the toolbox or the tools panel. Is where Photoshop holds all of its tools, and you find it along the left of Photoshop's interface, and there's tools for making selections, for editing and retouching images, for painting, adding type of or shapes to your document, and more. Next is the expanding toolbar. By default, the toolbar appears as a long single column of tools, and clicking the double arrow at the top will expand the toolbar into a shorter double column, and click the arrow again to return to the single column layout. Next, we have the option bar. So directly linked to the toolbar is Photoshop's options bar. The options bar displays the option for whichever tool you've selected in the toolbar. You'll find the options bar along the top of the interface. just above the document window. And here we see that because I currently have the rectangular marquee tool selected, the option bar is showing options for the rectangular marquee tool. Next, we have the menu bar. Along the very top of Photoshop's interface is the menu bar. The menu bar is where we find various options and commands all grouped into categories. Next, we have panel. Along the right of Photoshop's interface is where we find the panels. Panels give us access to all sorts of commands and options, and there are different panels for different tasks. And the most important panel is the layer panel. It's where we add, delete, and work with layers in our document. And to save space on the screen, Adobe groups related panels together. And to switch a different panel in a group, click on its tab. So where to find more panels in Photoshop? By default, only a handful of panels are displayed at first, but there are many more panels available to us in Photoshop. You'll find the complete list of panels under the window menu in the menu bar. A workspace in Photoshop is a preset collection and arrangement of various elements. Workspaces can control which of Photoshop's panel are displayed on the screen. Along with those panels are arranged, a workspace can change the layout of the tools in the toolbar, items in the menu bar, along with keyboards. Shortcuts can also be customized as part of our workspace. Use the workspace menu to easily switch between workspaces. So now we will talk about the tools, and we have different kinds of tools such as the move and selection tools, crop and slice tools, measurement tools, retouching and painting tools, drawing and type tools, and navigation tools. So first is the move and selection tools. We have the move tool. The move tool is used to move layers, selections, and guides within a Photoshop document, and enable auto-select to automatically select the layer or group you click on. Next, we have the artboard tool, and the artboard tool allows you to easily design multiple web or user experience layouts for different devices or screen sizes. And next, we have the rectangular marquee tool. The rectangular marquee tool draws a rectangular selection outlines. Next, we have the elliptical marquee tool. The elliptical marquee tool draws the elliptical selection outlines. Next, we have the single row marquee tool. The single row marquee tool in Photoshop selects a single row of pixels in the image from left to right. And next, we have the single column marquee tool. Use the single column marquee tool to select a single column of pixels from top to bottom. Next, we have the lasso tool. With the lasso tool, you can draw a free-form selection outline around an object. Like this one, and then we have the Polygonal marquee tool, polygonal lasso tool rather. Click around an object with the polygonal lasso tool to surround it with a polygonal straight edge selection outline. Like this one, and then we have the magnetic lasso tool. The magnetic lasso tool snaps the selection outline to the edge of the object as you move your mouse cursor around it. Next, we have the Quick Selection tool. The Quick Selection tool lets you easily select an object simply by painting over it with a brush, and enable Auto Enhance in the options bar for better quality selection. Next, we have the Magic Wand tool. Photoshop's Magic Wand tool selects areas of similar color with a single click. The tolerance value in the options bar sets the range of colors that will be selected. So next, we have the crop and slice tools. First one is the crop tool. Use the crop tool in Photoshop to crop an image and remove unwanted areas. Uncheck Delete Crop Pixels in the option bar to crop an image non-destructively. Next, we have the Perspective Crop tool. Use the Perspective Crop tool to both crop an image and fix common distortion or perspective problems. And the third one is the Slice tool. The Slice tool divides an image or layout into smaller sections or slices, which can be exported and optimized separately. And the last is the Slice Select tool. Use the Slice Select tool to select individual slices created with the Slice tool. Next, we have the Measurement tools. The first one is the Eyedropper tool. Photoshop's Eyedropper tool samples colors in an image. Increase sample size in the options bar for a better representation of the sampled area's color. The second one is the Color Sampler tool. The Color Sampler tool displays color values for the selected sampled area in an image. Up to 4 areas can be sampled at a time. View the color information in Photoshop's information panel. Next, we have the Ruler tool. The Ruler tool measures distances, locations, and angles, great for positioning images and elements exactly where you want them. The last one is the Note tool. The Note tool allows you to attach text-based notes to your Photoshop document, either for yourself or for others working on a same project, and notes are saved as part of the PSD file. Next, we have the Retouching and Painting tools. So the first one is the Spot Healing Brush tool. The Spot Healing brush in Photoshop quickly removes blemishes and other minor problem areas in an image. Use a brush size slightly larger than the blemish for best results. Next is the healing brush tool. The healing brush lets you repair larger problem areas in an image by painting over them. And next we have the patch tool. With the patch tool, draw a freeform selection outline around a problem area. Then repair it by dragging the selection outline over an area of good texture. And next we have the Content Aware Move tool. Use the Content Aware Move tool to select and move part of an image to a different area. Photoshop automatically fills in the hole in the original spot using elements from the surrounding areas. Next, we have the Red Eye tool. The Red Eye tool removes common red eye problems in a photo resulting from camera flash. And next, we have the Brush tool. The Brush tool is Photoshop's primary painting tool. Use it to paint brush strokes on a layer or on a layer mask. Next, we have the Pencil tool. The Pencil tool is another Photoshop painting tools, but while the Brush tool can paint soft edge brush strokes, the Pencil tool always paints with hard edges. Next, we have the Color Replacement tool. Use the Color Replacement tool in Photoshop to easily replace the color of an object with a different color. Next, we have the Mixer Brush tool. Unlike the standard brush tool, the Mixer brush in Photoshop can simulate elements of real painting such as mixing and combining colors and paint wetness. Next, we have the Clone Stamp tool. The Clone Stamp tool is the most basic of Photoshop's retouching tools. It samples pixels from one area of the image and paints them over pixels in another area. Next, we have the Pattern Stamp tool. Use the Pattern Stamp tool to paint a pattern over the image. Next, we have the History Brush tool. The History Brush tool paints a snapshot from an earlier step or history state into the current version of the image. Choose the previous state from the History panel. Next, we have the Art History Brush tool. The Art History brush also paints a snapshot from an earlier history state into the image, but does so using stylized brush strokes. Next, we have the Eraser tool. The Eraser tool in Photoshop permanently erases pixels on a layer. It can also be used to paint in a previous history state. Next, we have the Background Eraser tool. The Background Eraser tool erases areas of similar color in an image by painting over them. And the Magic Eraser tool. The Magic Eraser tool is similar to the Magic Wand tool in that it selects areas of similar color with a single click. But the Magic Eraser tool then permanently deletes those areas. And the Gradient tool. Photoshop's Gradient tool draws gradual blends between multiple colors, and the Gradient editor lets you create and customize your own gradients. Next is the Paint Bucket tool. The Paint Bucket tool fills an area of similar color with your foreground color or a pattern. The tolerance value determines the range of colors that will be affected around the area where you click. Next is the Blur tool. The Blur tool blurs and softens areas you paint over with the tool. Next is the Sharpen tool. The Sharpen tool sharpens areas you paint over. The Smudge tool is in Photoshop. Smudge and smears the areas you paint over, and it can also be used to create a finger painting effect. Next is the Dodge tool. that it paints over areas in the image with the dodge tool to light them or to lighten them. Next is the burn tool. The burn tool will darken the areas you paint over. The sponge tool, paint over areas with the sponge tool to increase or decrease color saturation. And next is the drawing and type tools. First is the pen tool. Photoshop's pen tool allows you to draw extremely precise paths, vector shapes, or selections. Next is the freeform pen tool. The freeform pen tool allows you to draw freehand paths or shapes. Anchor points are automatically added to the path as you draw. The third one is the add anchor point tool. Use the add anchor point tool to add additional anchor points along a path. Next, we have the delete anchor point tool. Click on an existing anchor point along a path with the delete anchor point tool to remove the point. And next, we have the convert point tool. On the path, click on a smooth anchor point with the convert point tool to convert it to a corner point, and click a corner point to convert it to a smooth point. Next, we have the horizontal type tool. Known simply as the type tool in Photoshop, use the horizontal type tool to add standard type to your document. Next, we have the vertical type tool. The vertical type tool adds type vertically from top to bottom. Next, we have the horizontal type mask tool. Like the vertical mask type tool, the horizontal type mask tool creates a selection outline in the shape of type. However, the type is added horizontally rather than vertically. Next is the vertical type mask tool. Rather than adding editable text to your document, the vertical type mask tool creates a selection outline in the shape of vertical type. Next, we have the path selection tool. Use the path selection tool in Photoshop to select and move an entire path at once. Next, we have the direct selection tool. Use the direct selection tool to select and move an individual path segment, anchor point, or direction handle. Next, we have the rectangle tool. The rectangle tool draws rectangular vector shapes, paths, or pixel shapes with sharp or rounded corners. Press and hold Shift as you drag to force the shape into a perfect square. Next, we have the rounded rectangle tool. The rounded rectangle tool allows you to draw squares and rectangles with round corners. Next, we have the ellipse tools. The ellipse tool draws elliptical vector shapes, paths, or pixel shapes. Press and hold Shift as you drag to draw a perfect circle. Next is the polygon tool. The polygon tool draws polygonal shapes with any number of sides. Next is the line tool. The line tool draws straight lines or arrows and use the stroke color and weight to control the appearance of the line. Next, we have the custom shape tool. Photoshop's custom shape tool lets you select and draw custom shapes. Choose from Photoshop's hundreds of built-in custom shapes or create your own. And the last is the navigation tools. So first, we have the hand tool. the hand tool let us click and drag an image around on the screen to view different areas when zoom in. Next, we have the rotate view tool. Use the rotate view tool in Photoshop to rotate the canvas so you can view and edit the image from different angles. Next, we have the zoom tool. Click on the image with the zoom tool to zoom in on a specific area. Next, we have the Photoshop color panel. Displays the color values for the current foreground and background colors. And next, we have the quick masks. Quick masks are used to create or refine selections in Photoshop by turning parts of your image a semi-transparent red to indicate the selected areas. This mask can be refined with the brush tool and operate similarly to a regular layer mask. And lastly, we have the standard screen mode. Displays the entire Photoshop interface including the toolbar on the left and the panels on the right. We also have the full screen mode with menu bar and the full screen mode.
Good day everyone, I am Jared Morate from BSS and I hope you learned something from me. Today, I am going to discuss about the basic image editing technique. But before that, I am going to define what is photo editing or image editing. Photo editing or image editing is also called post-processing or post-production because it's done after a photo or image was taken. Image editing, that process, is digital photography of making adjustments to photograph in a photo or image editing program. It's digital photography version of darkroom where photos can be tweaked after a photography shoot. Photo or image editing comes after a photographer has taken photos during a shoot and selected the best photos. As an editor, you can decide what photo edits you are going to use based on the scenario of the image taken.
Basic photo editing techniques. Most professionals photographers use editing software like Adobe Lightroom to organize and edit pictures. Lightroom is a deep and powerful editing tool, and combined with Adobe Photoshop can be used to achieve pretty much any effect or you can think of. There are many image editing techniques that can be applied with photo editor software like Lightroom during processing. Some of the editing options involve overall adjustment to your image quality, while others allow you to make targeting changes and adjust only one part of the image. Here are some of the photo editing tools you use for basic editing. White balance. Adjust temperature and tint so that the colors are correct. White balance is used for the adjustment of digital photograph to make its colors appear more realistic. Exposure. Overall brightness of darkness of the image. Highlights control, just the brighter parts of the image. Shadow control, just the darker parts of the image. White, set the brightest point in the image. Black, set the darkest point in the image. Exposure is simply how light or dark an image appears if an image is too dark. It's an underexposed if too light is overexposed. Contrast, the variance between the light and dark parts of the image. Adding contrast makes your dark darker and your bright brighter. It also refers to the difference between the light pixel and dark pixel. Low contrast image contain narrow range of colors, while high contrast image have bright highlights and dark shadows. Adjusting the contrast can either make an image more video or can mute the tone of more subtle fuel. Clarity, adjust contrast, but just in the middle tone of your photo. Increasing clarity has the effect of the enhancing texture and brings a little grittiness to the image. Overly decreasing clarity can give you photos or dreamlike quality. Clarity adjusts the contrast within the details of your image without affecting the overall tone of image. As you adjust clarity, the details are either clarified or smoothened, but the whites and black remain unexpected, and sharp edges remain sharp. Saturation. How much color information in this photo? This is similar to Burbrand's, which haters and the more muted colors in your image without affecting the colors that are already highly saturated. Sharpening, a method in which contrast in the increasing anywhere a light area meets a dark area, thereby making the photo look up sharper. Noise reduction, a method to smooth out any noise in the photo, which is usually caused by the severely unexposing and or shooting at a very high ISO. Noise is not grain and is generally considered undesirable. Brush tools allows you to brush or changes using a mouse or pen tablet. You can also use brushes to remove blemishes. HSL allow you to fine tune the hue, saturation, or luminance of a particular color. For example, you could use HSL to make all the reds in a photo appear more orange, more saturated, and brighter.